Yeah, hi there. These comments, I'm going to just use your initials M for privacy purposes, and I'm going to give you, this is what's called my error correction service. I'm going to read and correct one of your independent writing practice tests. In this case, I think it's number 19, am I right? So anyway, I read it, and I'm going to give you a score right here, right away, and then I will explain to you as I go through it the score you will get. So your score is, I'm going to say 3.0 out of 5, or you're looking probably at about 20 points out of 30 on this essay. Now, why is that? So I think you need to improve your organization. This seems to be a pretty big problem with this essay, and that's what my purpose is as I error correct this video, is to show you how to tighten the organization a little bit better. Now let's take a look at the word count too. So we are 289 words, which I don't think is enough. That's not going to showcase, I think, your writing as much as it should, so we have to make some improvements there. Okay, so let's look at your first paragraph. So we could say something like this. I'm going to make this a little more concise. So people visit people visit many beautiful places around the world for different reasons. You might say something like this. You might say, this. So what we're doing is creating some concrete detail in here. So people visit many beautiful places around the world for different reasons. They may visit the Taj Mahal in India to learn more about the country's culture, or they may visit the Grand Canyon in the United States to learn more about nature and its raw, rugged beauty. Travel to new places. They may visit museums. So we're starting off with some general ideas, not exactly around the question, but we have to get more specific here. Moreover, when these people travel to new places, they may visit museums. Here we have some word order issues. I would probably say this. This. Make it a little bit better here. When I travel to new places with my family, I like to visit museums. Now, what we have to do is you have to have what's called a coherent organization, which means what you state in the thesis in terms of its supporting points, you have to refer to those exactly in the same order in those body paragraphs. Okay, so our first step is to look at your body paragraphs to see exactly what you're trying to do. So your second paragraph is talking about relieving stress. So you say, I like to visit museums to relieve stress and to learn about different cultures. So what I did is the supporting points here, they actually follow the order of what you've discussed in these body paragraphs. So instead of saying people face many stresses during their days, either at home or at work, that's a fact. That doesn't create an argumentative tone. You need to create something. You need to use what I call lexical change, certain words that refer back to the question. The question is, why do people visit museums? You say, first of all, visit to relieve stress So this is more of an argument. This is the topic sentence, what you did not do, and then you can use this one. You say, I have many responsibilities such as taking care of my husband and my baby, cooking, cleaning our house, and working at my job. Maybe put a comma. And I should do all these responsibilities. We need to connect this back to the purpose. So doing family and job responsibilities daily stress. I think we got it. So first, like other people, I visit museums to relieve stress from my busy life. I have responsibilities such as taking care of my children and my baby, cooking, cleaning our house, and working at my job. And doing these family and job responsibilities daily causes me stress. Traveling to museums will give me an opportunity I think you're spending time with family, relaxing muscles, and relieving stress. If you bring up all those points, you now have to give examples to explain all of those. I don't think you want to do that. So traveling to museums will give me an opportunity to reduce some of these stresses. Museums are, how about this, comma, museums beautiful places. Often containing pictures on their walls. Let's say museums. Often contain pictures on their walls. How about use a colon here, then introduce your support points. Flowers, animals, beautiful houses, and other nature's pictures. For me, when I see these pictures, I feel like all my bad feelings are emitted in the air. For example, last year I visited art museum in Paris, France. During the tour, I saw pictures famous artists, hundreds of years ago. So what we're now doing is we have to get a little more specific and develop your ideas more. Remember, you had 289 words. I don't think that's enough. My recommendation is for you to try to get closer between 350 to 550 words to show that you can really develop your ideas, is what you're trying to do. In order to tie this back, so while viewing these paintings, I forgot about my family and work-related stresses. I'm going to say even here, so you can probably do a little bit better too with your vocabulary too, so I think we're good here. So now we've taken the paragraph and developed it a little bit more, so let's see what we are. Yeah, we're over 100 words now. To me, that's going to be a little bit better. Now actually, let's make this a little bigger here. Okay, so we see what we have. So let's read this paragraph now. So instead of going in too many different directions, you're focusing specifically on stress. This is it. How museums help you to relieve stress. That's the whole purpose, I think, of this paragraph. So first, like other people, I visit museums to relieve stress from my busy life. I have many responsibilities, such as taking care of my husband and my baby, cooking, cleaning our house, and working at my job. and doing these family and job responsibilities, notice here how I use the word family. This is what's called a lexical chain. I use the word family because that ties back to all these ideas here. I use the word job. That ties back to this word. You say, and working at my job and doing these family and job responsibilities daily causes me stress. Traveling to museums will give me an opportunity to reduce some of these stresses. Museums often containing pictures on their walls, or I need a verb here, not. So museums often contain pictures on their walls, flowers, animals, beautiful houses, and other natures. You see, for me, when I see these pictures, I feel like all my bad feelings are emitted into the air. For example, last year, I visited an art museum in Paris, France. During the tour, I saw pictures, I think of is better than from. I saw pictures of many famous artists who had drawn these beautiful relics of art many hundreds of years ago. While viewing these paintings, I forgot about my work and my family and work-related stresses and became captivated by the sheer beauty and craftsmanship of the timeless works of art. Maybe use the word these here. Okay, now let's move on to our next paragraph. Okay, so let's take a look at this one. So again, you're not really connecting what you're saying back to the writing prompt as effectively as you could. So you say, secondly, people like to learn about different cultures and to expand their knowledge. But why are you saying this? You're saying this because they visit museums for that purpose, right? But the question is not why people do it, it's why do you do it? Do you see where he said, I visit museums to relieve stress from my busy life? If you want to make this really, really organized, how about this? From my family and work life. How about that? Now you really got a tight topic sentence. You can say, I also visit museums because I also visit museums because I like to learn about different cultures and to expand my knowledge. This is where you're running into trouble. So, number one, you have to make sure your topic sentences, they refer back to the purpose, which we've identified here. It's very easy to see here. So each topic sentence needs to repeat some of the key words from this question. See what I did here? I visit museums to relieve stress from my family and work life. There. So then when we go to the next one, I also visit museums because I like to learn about different cultures and to expand my knowledge. Museums reflect many cultures, characteristics. Make this a plural possessive noun. Many cultures, characteristics. And I can learn how about attributes as a synonym for the word characteristic? I can learn these attributes from museums' pictures. Again, you have the tendency, when you get into that middle of the paragraph, you're still in more general terms. Again, here, So I visited a Native American museum in, let's say, Phoenix, Arizona earlier this year. I learned how the Apaches built their houses using only sticks and mud. How they sold blankets and pottery to early settlers. And how they sold blankets and pottery to early settlers, which expanded their market economy. Moreover, while I was at that museum, I could share my knowledge and ideas so therefore I expanded you might say something like, in fact, okay, so we're developing this paragraph just a little bit more. I think we're pretty close to about 112. I'm going to add one more thing in here. So you might say still transmitted. Now I'm just imagining I went to this museum, and I actually did visit a museum like this. So, but these tribes still transmitted their values and traditions orally by telling stories from one generation to the next. So let's add to the previous idea, right? So we use the word for instance. You can say here, in addition, to help the audience know the connection of your ideas. In addition, I even learned that the Apache had no written language, but these tribes still transmitted the values and traditions orally. These tribes still transmitted their values and traditions orally by telling stories from one generation to the next. Moreover, while I was at that museum, I could share my knowledge and ideas with these guides and other tourists. Therefore, I expanded my knowledge about Native American culture. And let's say this, by visiting this museum, I expanded my knowledge about Native American culture. In fact, I can tell my friends about the culture of this great Native American civilization. Now here, in conclusion, you say, people visit museums to expand their knowledge about many cultures, to have a good time with their families, and to relax their muscles. No, 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 no. We don't want to do that. You want to recap or restate the key points you've already established in the body paragraphs. That's it. You don't want to bring up any information here that doesn't directly connect back to what you've already said. Think of your summary as at the end of a conversation with someone on the phone. You just want to say, okay, see you later, we'll talk to you at some point. But you want to bring up a whole bunch of new ideas at the end of the conversation, because that just restarts everything all over again. You want to close the topic. To close the topic is to restate the key points and end it. So in the conclusion here, let's take a look at what I did. So you have people visit museums to expand their knowledge about many cultures, to have a good time with their families and relax their muscles. But I don't think that exactly matches what we've done in this paragraph. So we have to make some changes here. So instead of saying that, here's what I'm saying. In conclusion, traveling is a hobby of mine, and when I travel to new places such as France and the United States, notice how I mentioned both of these in body paragraphs 2 and 3, I definitely will stop at some of the local museums. Museums relieve my family and work stress and help me to learn about new cultures, which expands my knowledge. As the saying goes, knowledge is power. I think that's it. Yeah, I'm going to make one more change here in this paragraph. I think the meaning is not clear here. If you say, I saw pictures of many famous artists, it sounds like they're just pictures of the artists themselves. But if you want to talk about the paintings that the artist created, then you might say pictures from many famous artists who had drawn. So I think this is one correction. I'm going to put here from instead of, to make sure I have the right meaning there. Alright, so let's take a look at the essay one more time, and we'll read it from the start. So what I'm doing is I changed your essay, which was 3.0 out of 5 or 20 points out of 30. I rewrote it, so now your score is 5.5 out of 5 or 30 points out of 30. So remember when we started, you had 289 words. And then once I made the changes, we now have 459 words. So we have developed your topic a little bit more. We've restructured, organized it a little bit better. The good thing is you actually have fairly good control of, I think, your grammar and your vocabulary. You don't have any serious problems there, but you're just not organized enough and you're not specific enough in the details that you're using to really make a convincing argument that relates to the writing task. So here we go. People visit many beautiful places around the world for different reasons. They may visit the Taj Mahal in India to learn more about the country's culture, or they may visit the Grand Canyon in the United States to learn more about nature and its raw, rugged beauty. Raw and rugged beauty, so I'm going to put a comma there. Moreover, when these people travel to new places, they may visit museums. So we're now getting a little bit more focused around the question. When I travel to new places with my family, I like to visit museums to relieve stress and to learn about different cultures. First, like other people, I visit museums to relieve stress from my family and work life. I have many responsibilities, such as taking care of my husband and my baby, cooking, cleaning our house, and working at my job, and doing these family and job responsibilities daily causes me stress. Traveling to museums will give me an opportunity to reduce some of these stresses. Museums often contain pictures on their walls, flowers, animals, beautiful houses, and other nature's pictures. For me, when I see these pictures, I feel like all my bad feelings are emitted in the air. For example, last year, I visited an art museum in Paris, France. During the tour, I saw pictures of many famous artists who had drawn these beautiful relics of art many hundreds of years ago. While viewing these paintings, I forgot about my family and work-related stresses and became captivated by the sheer beauty and craftsmanship of these timeless works of art. Second, notice how the topic sentence is very, very specific to the writing task. I also visit museums because I like to learn about different cultures and to expand my knowledge. Museums reflect many cultures' characteristics, and I can learn these attributes from museums' pictures. For instance, I visited a Native American museum in Phoenix, Arizona earlier this year. During the visit, probably don't have to say there, it's a little wordy, I learned how the Apaches built their houses using only sticks and mud, and how they sold blankets and pottery to early settlers, which expanded their market economy. In addition, I even learned that the Apache had no written language, but these tribes still transmitted their values and traditions orally by telling stories from one generation to the next. Moreover, while I was at that museum, I could share my knowledge and ideas with these guides and other tourists. Therefore, by visiting the museum, I expanded my knowledge about Native American culture. In fact, I can tell my friends about the culture of this great Native American civilization, you might say even today. So what did we do here? We made it much more specific by using these ideas. Right here. This gives you more specific details. It helps you expand and explain the argument further. Now, if we look at the actual rubrics here in the 3 range, it says addresses a topic and task using somewhat developed explanations, examples, and details. It means it's not as developed as it could be. To get in the 5 area, it says it's coherently organized and well developed using clearly appropriate explanations and examples. That's what I did. I showed you how you can do that with your writing. Let's keep going. You say, moreover, oh, we got that. Okay, let's go to the conclusion. In conclusion, traveling is a hobby of mine, and when I travel to new places such as France and the United States, I definitely will stop at some of the local museums. Museums relieve my family and work stress and help me to learn more about new cultures, which expands my knowledge. As the saying goes, knowledge is power. And there it is. So we have it. So for you, I think if you want to move forward with your writing, you need to do two things, I think. Number one, you need to create a more coherent organization. You do that by a more specific, more focused thesis statement, and you have to make sure that your topic sentences in the body paragraphs explicitly state or explain those ideas. And remember that the topic sentences need to be framed as arguments, not just as facts. That's the first thing you have to do. The second thing you have to do is to be more specific. You have to be more telling in the details or the examples you're using, which has a direct impact on strengthening the argument that you're trying to make. And that is how you improve your TOEFL writing score.